Hi everyone, welcome to another video of Black Desert Online. Today we're going to be talking about crafting gruntle pieces, or any armor piece that you would like, and fail stacking with the gruntle pieces that you're going to craft. So let's start by looking at the towns where you can get the armor workshop, and then go into detail about how to craft it. So to obtain the workshop, the one that you need is in Calphion. It's going to be over here in the bottom left hand corner in the Noble District, number 1-4, second floor. Or you can use this little search engine at the box at the top that allows you to filter out which ones you want to use. So if you scroll to the bottom, you see Armor Workshop. And we need a level 5 for that gruntle. Unless you don't want to craft gruntle, but level 5 for the gruntle piece. So go ahead and get this. It's going to cost you a decent amount of contribution points, but it will pay off in the end. So let's go ahead and look at this and what's needed to craft gruntle. So the first beginning spot here, we're gonna look at, I have all my workers, I have different things like that. So we have the gruntle helmet, which takes 3, 1, 10, 3. The armor is 7, 3, 10, 3. The gloves are 2, 1, 10, 3, and the shoes are 4, 2, 10, 3. So as we're looking at these materials, we can see that we need brass ingot, fine tough hide, and black stone powder and black crystal. Out of all 4 pieces, the easiest one to craft for the least amount of money is going to be the gruntle helmet and the gruntle gloves. Both of these are the cheapest and easiest to craft due to having the less amount of brass ingots, not as many fine tough hides. The black crystals stay constant, the black stone powders are constant throughout each piece. The gloves are the cheaper of the two, but the brass ingot's not really that hard to make. We'll go into that detail in a minute. So again, this is where you can get your armor workshop so you can craft a gruntle, and then you can start building up your gruntle warehouse space to start fail stacking or selling for money. So let's move on to the next piece. Let's go into crafting materials and what you can get each of the crafting materials. So first on the list is that brass ingot. So you're going to need copper and zinc ore, which then you're going to heat up into shards, and then from the shards you're going to use that to craft the brass ingots. Now you're going to require heating beginner knowledge, and you can get this just by following the basic quest line from the Black Spirit under the guides, and he'll get you over to the heating beginner that you need to have to be able to heat up copper and zinc together. Remember, it's the shards, not the ore, so you have to heat up the ore, then heat up the shards, and that will give you the brass ingots. Very easy to make, not worth buying. Don't invest your money into that. Invest nodes, get that way. So the first piece, you need copper. Copper you can obtain real easily over in Velia on the coastal line. So in this coastal cave area, you have your copper, you have your iron ore and copper ore. So go ahead and put a worker over here. Faster workers means more ore, so I would say you want to put a goblin over there. Just make it nice and fast. Goblins are the fastest. So that's there. And the next piece that you're gonna need is the zinc ore. So you have your lava cave. This has 1 zinc ore. And you have down here the iron mines. You have your other zinc ore. So those 2 zinc ores are the easiest to obtain. You can go out into Valencia and get some more, but it's not really worth it, and you need a lot of contribution points in that. Those 2 places will give you the zinc ore for you. And zinc ore nodes also give you platinum ore. So if you're using humans, you're going to obtain platinum as well. So I recommend using the humans. They have a higher luck rating. Even if they're a little bit slower than a goblin, it's better off having the platinum in the long run just for usage. So those 2 areas where you can obtain the zinc, and that's how you can create your brass ingot. So moving on to the next piece is the fine tough hide. Now I usually just pre-order either I pre-order the fine tough hide because I'm really lazy about gathering, or you can go gather. You have boars, which are pig hides. You have cow hide and rhino. Rhino's somewhere in Media. I'm not sure about cow hide, but pig hide you can get from boars. There's a whole bunch of areas for boars. There's a whole bunch of areas. One of the areas that I know I can tell you is over in the Masha area. You can farm there for the hides if you wanted to, or you can put up a pre-order and just buy up tough hides and then dry them to get to what you need. Again, you're going to need a drying beginner knowledge on this. If you follow the guides pretty easily to get that knowledge, and you can Google around and figure out how to get the knowledge if the guides aren't really explaining enough to you. But it's pretty straightforward, really easy to get. And if you read here, you can also look at the quest that you can obtain it from in Heidel. So this is would be your next pet. This is really easy to get. You only need one per craft, so it's not like you need a ton. So I recommend processing it. Buying it straight out is a little bit expensive. Using the tough hide and then drying it is a lot. You'll get your processing up, and probably get more than if you just bought it straight out. Now the third thing is that blackstone powder. Now this is really easy to obtain. You have multiple ways to just buy it, or you just go to iron mines or somewhere that drops tons of blue crystals and just crush them. Just take there and grind them up and just use the blackstone powder. It's the easiest way to get blackstone powder. I wouldn't never buy this. It's too easy to farm. And then the fourth item is those black crystals. Now to get the black crystals, you're going to have to get the rough black crystals. So there's multiple nodes that you can get rough black crystals from. Let's go ahead and go into that. So over in the media section, you have two sections. You have your iron mines down here, and the iron ore section gives you rough black crystals. Again, you want to make sure you're using that human worker. The human worker is going to give you the best luck in obtaining that secondary item from the node. Now the second section you can get is over this Bashim base. This is the next area where you can get another rough black crystals. And again, it's iron ore, and you can have another worker here just helping you out. Between just those nodes, I collect a decent amount, maybe 200 to 300 a week, maybe a little bit more depending. I don't really know exact numbers, but it's about that. And I'm constantly making sure they're always working. So, and I'm using professionals. So if you had artisans, you're even next step above me. Now there's a couple of other nodes like the Pilgrim Haven and Crescent Mountain, which also return to you for rough black crystals. If you really want to invest and have a ton of them, that's another way you can do it. Again, you can buy them. I don't really say it's worth it. It's just extra money that in this case, you could have just bought the Gruntle helmets and not really have taken into consideration even trying to craft them at this point. But if you don't want to do that, then this is how you can at least obtain it, just by having your workers do all the work for you, and you don't really have to do much besides gathering the fine tough hides from that. After you have all of those, now the key here is the next piece is your workers. Now you have multiple workers and they have skill sets. Now the skill sets are very important because they can get a skill set called Advanced Armor Production Skill. And now you have weapons and other ones that do the same thing, but as an artisan they get a +3, professionals get +2, and then skills get +1. And in having this Advanced Armor Production Skill on my artisan human worker, it gives them an additional +3 crafting. This means that when I craft one Gruntle helmet or glove or any armor piece, it's going to craft an additional 3. So it's a total of 4 pieces. Now this means I have to have 4x of the materials. So if it requires 2, that means I have to have 4x. To have that, I need 8. So in this case, it makes me have that many materials before I can actually craft it. So that is a downside, but this means in that 1 hour of him crafting it, or 45 minutes, I'm crafting 4 instead of crafting 1. So this is really, really necessary. So once they get that 30, you can keep, recycling them or keep leveling up workers to help you hope to get that, or just buy it off the market if you see somebody, pop one on the market and try selling it. But that skill is really important. Recommend having it. Don't upgrade. If you're a professional, you have a +2 and it's working well, I wouldn't recommend upgrading or leveling up that worker just because it's such a good skill to have. And losing it would hinder you from crafting more and faster. So this is that skill you want to look for crafting armor pieces. Again, you can do it for weapons and a couple other things, but that's for the armor one. So if you look at my warehouse, you can see that I have a whole bunch of Gruntle helmets here, and I got a couple of heave helmets from farming, but we'll come into that a little bit later. Now the Gruntle helmets, you can use the Gruntle helmets. You can use a blue one, which means I can repair it with any green. The blue ones I go back and forth with. If there's a lot on the market, then I can buy and just repair it with, and I'll do that because it's a little bit cheaper than using the green one. The green ones are actually expensive. But you can go back and forth on how you want to do that. But take your Gruntle helmet, start fail stacking. Now you're just going to use a whole bunch of armor stones. You're going to sit there and plus it up. Now, if you get to a certain plus, say you get to +10 and it's +7 right now, you don't want to go over that and you waste your +10 fail stacks on a +7 Gruntle. You want to switch to an alt now. You want to use that alt to hopefully +8, +9 with less fail stacks, and rinse and repeat, increasing your fail stacks to get up to 13 or 14 on the helmet. Once you're there, that's the golden section for over enchanting, or enchanting in this case. Once you hit that plateau, you have your best chances of getting up to 16, 17, 18 fail stacks with having a plus 13 or plus 14 helmet, giving you ability to go pry on jewelry or increasing stuff to duo or even pry on different items. And then you can fail stack even higher off of your own gear that's pry or duo to get you the next step so you don't accidentally plus 15 it when you have 25 fail stacks. Once you hit that 20 max, don't try to use a plus 14 to go over 20. That's going to make that thing go plus 15 and you're going to lose your fail stacks. So again, you hit that 16, 17, 18 plateau with it. You're pushing it after 18. 20 is the max. Really look at that. Once it's 15 though, then you can just resell it. I don't recommend extracting. You can. You'll probably sometimes get more than you invested. Sometimes you get less than you invested. Selling it probably a better bet. It's a gamble. I just sell it. You can extract the stones so you don't have to keep rebuying or refarming black armor stones in this case. So that's pretty much the idea behind the chrono crafting and fail stacking. Very simple, very straightforward. I highly recommend doing this just to get your fail stacks. How I got on all my fail stacks. I've been trying to go for duo, so my gear's kind of off right now. So as you can see, I don't have pry and stuff like that anymore. I blew up most of it. But it works. Trust me on that. So keep it at it. Try it out. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helped you out. Come back a couple weeks later for another video on Black Desert Online.